what's the next question?
Okay, so we left off with when Auntie Anna came over here and the war, and that Auntie Anna was born here, and then Grandma Sue came over here with you guys.
Right.
Okay.
Then because that Grandma Auntie Anna sent for us.
Okay.
And Uncle Leonard was born here too, and he after the war.
I'll ask you the question you
Okay.
don't
Did you put that the family came here and moved back?
She doesn't care about that.
Well, it's your story, not the family's. It's just yours.
Okay.
So, when you got here, how did you get here? Did you fly here?
We got here by boat.
Okay. And how
The
was the boat
Andrea
ride?
Doria.
Andrea Dora?
Andrea Dora. Right?
Andrea Doria.
Doria. Right.
How long did it take? I'm going to type it up. I'm going to listen
The
to the
voyage?
Yeah.
Oh, it probably took whatever a boat trip took in those days.
Are you saying that Ma came ahead of time without the kids?
Yeah.
Well, this is your story, not Grandma's. This is what you went through.
I know.
Yeah, it is, Gina.
Yeah.
Well, she just probably wants to give you a background.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
that's okay, but they're
Okay.
interested in.
Then
Are you
what?
taping yet or
Yeah.
no?
Yeah. It's going. It's okay. Go ahead. You're fine.
About what?
So, do you remember anything from the voyage?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Can you
Nothing
say
at
how
all.
old you were?
3.5 years old.
Yeah. Did anyone tell you stories of of how it was, or?
The only one who told me stories was this old guy in Canada, and he told me that it was a rough crossing, and
He helped watch you.
he helped babysit me.
Mhm.
You know, while I was a young kid, I was a little baby, and my brother
Yeah.
Who did you come with?
babysitting my brother. I came with my brother, who was 1 years old, 1.5 years old, and my father. He came with me,
Mhm.
and myself.
Okay. And you met Grandma Sue, who was already here, right?
Yes, and then we met up with my mother.
Where did she come, or where did you come when you first got here? Did you go through New York?
We had to go through New York first. In those days, everybody had to go through New York.
Do you remember that?
No,
No?
I don't remember any of it.
Wow.
And
Okay.
it's a very sketchy memory, you know.
Yeah. No, it's one of your first
And
memories.
my mother said that when I saw her, when they met us at the train station,
In Chicago
at
or in
the
New York?
LaSalle Street train station
Okay.
in Chicago, and the first thing I said was, "Ma, why did you leave?" And my mother gave me a baby doll, you know, a doll as a gift, you know, to come.
When you got there?
Yeah, and my
Okay.
mother says she never forgot that. No,
Because it was so hard for her to leave her kids in the first place.
Yeah.
because it was hard to leave kids in the first place.
Yeah. So you came to Chicago. Did you stay in Chicago?
Then we settled in Chicago. We lived in two different places in Chicago, and we always lived in Chicago. First, we stayed with my aunt in Evanston.
Okay.
Okay, then
We went there by Loyola.
yes,
We went there on the drive once.
yes. Remember when I showed you by the drive, where the buildings are standing now,
By
and
the
they said
lake?
they knocked. Yes,
That wasn't
we were three.
where my aunt lived.
Oh. Well,
That-
did you stay there ever?
First, we went to Evanston. We lived with my aunt when we first got here.
Okay.
Then we went to this apartment in Chicago by the lake.
Okay.
We were 3 houses away from the lake. And I took you there one
Yeah.
time to show you where the building used to stand in Evanston, you know. And then off Sheridan Road, yeah. And then after that we moved to another apartment on Potomac Avenue. It's no longer there either.
Near Humboldt Park.
Okay.
Near Humboldt Park. That's no longer standing there. And then from there, we moved to the house where I grew up in Evanston. I'm sorry,
On Byron Street.
on Byron Street.
Yeah, grandma's house.
Yeah.
Okay. How old were you when you finally settled there, or when you guys all got?
I think we
situated?
were there. I remember going to Potomac Avenue. I remember going to kindergarten and first grade to that area, and that was
1957.
1957. So I remember always doing my homework in the back porch, and I loved doing my homework. Don't ask me why, but I did.
What homework did you like? What class did you like specifically?
English.
Did you learn English?
I
through
learned
school?
English by going to school and talking to kids. I remember in kindergarten though, when my first year in kindergarten, I didn't speak to anybody because I didn't know the language. I just listened.
Mm-hmm.
And then in first grade, I couldn't shut up. I was just a jabbering little idiot.
In first grade, you're what, 6? 5 or 6? Or 7?
Six.
Something like
Six.
that.
I
Okay.
was 6. And then when we went to the second, then we moved again. When we moved to Byron, then I went to Catholic school.
Okay.
And I was in Catholic school. I was in second grade already.
Okay.
Okay.
Is the school still there? Is that the church you guys
And the
go to?
school is still there, yeah.
St. Pascal's?
Yeah. And they're about to close it
Oh, really?
now, yeah, because there's
The
hardly
enrollment
any
is down.
students there. And Father George, Archbishop George, that was the Archbishop of Chicago.
Okay.
When I was in 8th grade, he was ordained at that school at St. Pascal's, and I remember the ordination.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember all of that.
Okay. So you jumped a little bit ahead. So second grade. We're gonna go back to second grade. So you were learning English. So you were born by then. You were in kindergarten. Did you guys make friends? Was it?
Oh yeah,
Was it easy to?
I had a ton of friends there,
Okay.
and I had a lot of people there that were from my friends. You know,
Okay.
when I was in second grade, first grade, I had a lot of friends. I had a little boyfriend there. You know, in the playground we used to
Yeah.
play, and that was
Kick
cute.
wood chips at each other.
Yeah. And
So at home, do you remember Grandma's biggest hardship getting like accustomed to America?
I think Grandma's biggest hardship was the language,
Okay.
because she came over as an adult and she had it was very difficult in those days to find a job too.
Did she wind up finding a job?
She always had a good job as a seamstress, and she used to make fine stitching on men's suit, handmade suits, so these suits would sell for hundreds of dollars, and that's what Grandma worked at. My father was just a laborer.
Before he even came.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did she work close, or did she have to take a bus really far?
Oh, she had to take a bus and a train.
Oh, wow.
To
Yeah.
downtown.
It was downtown.
It was downtown, yeah, it was on Michigan Avenue.
Okay. What's
Where-
the building there now? Do you know?
I can't remember. I wish I could. I can't remember, but it's still down there.
Yeah.
This used to be a district.
Is it by like Water Tower? Or was it further south?
No, it's not by Water Tower. It's on Michigan Avenue
Randolph.
in Randolph.
Lake.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
and
She worked piecemeal.
I remember that when we were little kids, my cousins and I, because my aunt and my mother worked, they would take us downtown, and we would pack a lunch, and they would take us to our wherever we were gonna be at like the movie theater we were gonna be at, and we would stay there all day and watch the movies all day long, and then they'd come and pick us up at the end of the day,
Okay.
and they would take us back to. And in those days, they used to have double features.
So 2 movies.
So we'd see 2 movies that we liked, yeah.
Okay.
And sometimes we'd have money. They'd give us extra money so we could go see another movie.
How much were the movies back then?
Oh, I can't remember because I've had surgery
Oh yeah, no, I know.
and part of my memory's gone.
Yeah, I explained it already. It's okay.
Yeah, so I can't remember where it was. But we'd see the double features. We loved going downtown.
Yeah.
And sometimes my aunt and my mother would have my sister and my cousin and me go to the movie theater. My cousins live in Evanston, so they still lived in Evanston at that time, and my aunt would give us money just to go to movies down there when she
Had to go to work or
had to go to work, yeah. And we'd see double features with movies down there too.
Yeah.
So that's what we did
In your spare time?
in our spare time
Okay.
as a kid.
Do you remember your favorite movie as a kid? I'm sure there are hundreds.
All the cartoons we saw. All the cartoons.
Did they have sound and color by then?
and the cowboy show, the cowboy
the
movies.
old westerns?
Yeah, the old westerns.
Were they had sound?
Yes,
Did they have color?
I'm not that old.
Oh,
No, they were in black and white.
okay.
The first movie that I saw in color was Gone with the Wind. And I still remember it because it was a big deal because it was going to be in color.
Do you remember how old you were?
We'll
That's okay.
look it up.
We'll figure it out later.
Okay.
We'll take it out. We'll figure it out later. Yeah.
Okay. Did you guys have a car?
Yeah, we had a car. We had a Buick, a blue Buick. After a while, we were able to buy a car because otherwise, before that, my parents got around by bus. That's how everybody got around in those days.
Pa would get picked up, wouldn't he?
My father would get picked up for work in the morning and dropped off. And then after a while, he saved enough money for a car, and then he was able to buy a blue Buick. I remember that car too. that it was blue. That it was a blue Buick, and I must have been around 7, about 8, 9 years old, something like that. And then we'd all pile into it because in those days, if you had a car, it was a big deal. Then other people would hitch a ride from you, to go wherever you were going.
The seats there were 3 seats in the front, right?
Wasn't
there like a front middle seat?
There was a front middle seat. Yeah, there was front. There was in the middle there. In the middle, there was 3 seats, and there was enough room for a kid to stand up in the seat, and an adult sit in the back. And so people were packed in, or they'd sit on somebody's lap or something like that.
So now let's move along. How old were you when you went back to Italy?
When I went back to Italy, I was 21 years old.
Was that after college or before college? Because you said you went back.
It was during college.
Oh, okay.
It was not, because I went to night school.
Okay.
I went to night school at Loyola.
What was your first job?
During the day. My first job was at the dry cleaners.
Okay.
I was just part-time working at the dry cleaners.
Clerk.
I was basically a clerk.
Okay.